Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to this powerful summit, Happy, Healthy, and Successful, where we're bringing masters, teachers, way showers, light workers, coaches from around the world to share with you processes, steps moving forward to inspire hope for you to step into your next. And today we have Liane Lopes with us. Liane, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and what got you to being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Maria, for having me. It truly is an honor, and I look forward to sharing my journey with all of your audience with the intention that it inspires people to step into their highest light, because that is what this journey truly is all about. My journey consciously began when I was a little girl. I used to see spirits and a lot of lower and frequency entities, but I consciously woke up during a near-death experience that I had in my late 20s. I was hit by a double-decker bus, walking the streets of London, England, looked the wrong way, and next thing you know, I'm floating above my body, and that was my big awakening to purpose. I walked out of that hospital a couple days later. I should have never made it. And then my conscious journey began. And it's interesting that you bring this up, because I was guided to a book at that point, and by Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist. So I read it. Such a good book. So if there's any takeaway from this, if people are looking to connect to their purpose, that is the most beautiful book to read. And I just recently was guided to read it again. So my conscious journey into my highest frequency, my ascension journey, really began after my near-death experience. And through following the omens, as he discusses in the book, I followed the breadcrumbs, and I realized how everything was divinely planned and orchestrated, and it brought me to the here and now. And I read the book again, and it just all made sense in just a higher level of knowing. And I am coming here today bringing hope and truth in knowing that your destiny is very real. It is personal to you. And when you are in alignment with this truth and in oneness, nothing can stop you. So I invite everyone to explore what that is for them. And if you don't know what your next right step is, there are a lot of teachers out there who are ready and willing to channel through and guide you.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you're a channeler. Tell us a little bit about when you decided. So you talked about your experience after the bus. Was that the exact point where you decided to pivot into being the divine channel for others, or was there, other events that happened in your life, learnings, lessons along the way?
My journey was actually really hard. not like everyone's journey is hard, but I'm realizing now with the expression pressure produces diamonds, it is so true. And unfortunately, it was a little strange for me, because I'd go to healers and such, and they could only help me so much. It's almost like there was this black box. And it's like in my contract that I had to discover these things on my own in order for me to really step into my power. So it really was almost like I was put into a learning zone, like a war zone, where there were all kinds of lessons to see, like how this matrix reality works, how people keep getting stuck. I was stuck for so many years in all kinds of loops. So it was like I chose to be embedded in this and really study it from all angles. I am one of those people that truly lives in my conscious mind, or most recently started to ascend physically as well, to catch up so that I can assimilate mind, body, and soul. But I see it now as all part of this divine plan. And the channeling started to come once I learned the lessons I needed to learn, once I was able to hold these higher vibrations and break out of this matrix reality and really hold things from this higher perspective in a field of oneness, that I was able to access all this information that we say is held in the frequency of 963 hertz, oneness, God, whatever you want to call it, source. And when I'm truly plugged into that, it's like everything just comes at me from all angles, and I just open up and receive it and share it. And I truly become just a vessel of information.
Beautiful. I, as you're sharing this information of your journey, I can sense the audience saying, "Yeah, that sounds like me. My life has been hard. We've all had these challenges in our life." But I like the perspective, because this is something I also teach about. We are masters. We're remembering to be masters. We're moving into creation. We're mastering who we are, mind, body, spirit, as well as our lives. And the more we can look and notice without judgment, without criticism, the more we move into the mastery, because we're not getting stuck in it. We're not playing the victim. We're not playing like, why is this happening to me? We are observing, we're seeing, we're noticing, we're up leveling ourselves, and we're relating very differently to the world from that place of mastery. So I love that. I love that, because it's a great message for everybody to remember that, first of all, we chose this. Whatever we're working through, we chose it. We're not victims to it. But the moment we can remember that we're not a victim to it, then also our life changes. Where it's easier for us to hold a higher frequency. It's easier for us to see it, the world from a different set of eyes, from a different perspective. It's easier for us to more easily let go of things and continue to move through the flow. So the question for you that would be helpful for the audience is, when was that realization that, yeah, I'm not a victim to this? Like, what was that process for you?
Oh, I could tell you exactly what happened. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be able to relate to it. I had just gone through a really ugly, long, drawn out, painful separation. And I remember being in my home thinking I was free, and I had gone through the process of grieving at least 7 times at that point. And I was in my home, which felt like like a beautiful little jewelry box. I should be happy, but I was on the ground, sobbing, crying, mourning once again the loss of something that I didn't want, and I couldn't understand it. I'm like, why am I mourning this person that isn't right for me? I'm not going to say he's not good, because we just grew apart. We went in our own directions, but it just wasn't healthy. And why am I going down this road again? And I just let all this energy out, and I surrendered, and I just let go, and I just connected to the field, and I was brought back to my child self. And I was looking at her in front of me, and she was just so endearing. And she said, "Why are you mourning something you haven't lost?" And I heard that message so loud and clear, and I snapped out of it, and I just sat in this. Why are you mourning something you haven't lost? And then I recognized that I hadn't lost it, because the dream was still there. I wasn't that divine partner is still out there. My fairy tale dream, my purpose is still there. It's just not in the way I thought it was supposed to be. And as soon as I made that connection, that my purpose, my dream, my destiny, my journey is exactly right and intact, and everything's happening for me, everything changed. Game changer. Boom.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. I love that. Again, that's a powerful message for everyone, in terms of, when we're in this situation and we feel like we're at the bottom. In reality, we're not. It's just a reset. It's like we're at that reset moment, and we can choose whatever else we can create from that point. There is no loss. It's just we're moving away from something into something new. And it just feels so powerful, and especially connecting to your little one. Because we often forget about that part of ourselves. Sometimes that part of ourselves is stuck somewhere. So that's beautiful. So remember the message, everyone. Where you are in that moment, it's it's the starting point of something else. And in reality, we don't lose anything. It just changes and we evolve. We evolve from that into something new, and now we have a clean space or clean slate for that new that wants to come in. I feel like sometimes we get attached to what that was, and that's where the mourning comes. That safety or that similarity, or that even some level of comfort, even if we're suffering, it's what we know versus the unknown. Okay?
What is survivable is repeatable, and letting go of that control is a hard step to do, but it's the most freeing step of them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I as you know, I also went through the divorce, and I remember those days as well. And for me, it was about letting go of the things that weren't loving toward me anymore, or weren't bringing me joy, weren't bringing me happiness, things that were changing who I was. So I let go so that I can find myself again, reconnect to who I was, and surrender to what was in store for me. So the unknown for me became sort of like the magic. And it was the unknown was what's possible. What if, once I surrender and let go of all of this that is not good for me, good for my children because of what's being created, then what is possible and what else can we create or can I create for them?
Yeah. And the best part about that is, it's coming to mind, when that door opened and that surrender happened, then the journey of self-love and self-mastery really began. And then I became obsessed with frequency. So I'm always like pushing myself to reach and sustain higher frequencies. That's just my passion, because I know the highest frequency I can embody, I'm anchoring that into Mother Earth, which is truly my purpose, is raising the frequency of the planet and assisting all the animals in this ascension process. And just being a way shower for others to do the same, because if I can do it, so can someone else, and especially my children, because they are the future generation. And like my daughter said to me the other day, she's like, "How do you do it, Mom? You always have a smile on your." I said, "Do what, honey?" She says, "You always have a smile on your face." But she remembers, she'll look back at old photos where I looked like a shell of a person.
Mm-hmm.
I literally have transformed physically. I am no longer the same person. And if there's a message that's coming through right now, loud and clear, is to embrace change. When people say you are different, you're no longer the same person. And even if it's coming from a judgmental place, doesn't matter where it's coming from, embrace that, because that is your personal evolution. Changing is a good thing, exploring. And if you make a wrong, there's no wrong choice. But if you choose a path and it feels icky, it's just steering you back into that right direction.
Yeah, I love that. I love the idea of allowing change to be so fluid. So, because a lot of times we don't follow, we don't take action because we're afraid of that change, afraid of the construct, afraid of the structure, the change of the support, the change of all of that. And I remember those days for myself, and what gave me courage was, it was really my children. It was about breaking the old patterns and breaking the story and breaking the cycles and the old programming. I didn't want them to choose um, other people or something else before they chose themselves. I wanted them to always choose themselves and to know that they matter, to know their power, and to know that they were here for a purpose as well, and that purpose was also important. and that they deserve to be valued, and they deserve to be seen and heard, and that they deserve to fully express themselves. So for me, it was like there was no turning back. It was a have to. It was just, yeah. It was the right, it just felt right. It just, even if I was going through all those emotions and uh, the loss and the grieving and all of that, I knew that was part of my old self that wanted to attach. I knew that was part of the human that wanted to stay safe and comfortable. But I also knew that it wasn't what made me happy. And I leaned into trust, and I just kept going and just kept going.
Spoken like a true master. Awareness is mastery, and seeing all these things from a higher perspective. So I just want to take a moment to honor you because that was so beautifully said.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk a little bit about um, what you're up to in the world. Like, I know your children are important to you, and becoming who you're becoming and who's always been is also important for you, so that they can see that. Because I know that's important for me, but also the way we serve, right? It's how we do one thing is how we do everything. Tell me a little bit about what's now important for you, what's part of what you're creating, what are you teaching now, and what are you teaching your children?
Mm, so many messages here. Definitely the journey of standing in your truth
Mhm.
is the most important message that I like to share with anyone I work with, whether it's as a coach, through my business, the messages that I share through becoming bioquantum, but most importantly, it is with that younger generation. They are so gifted and powerful, and I want them to break free from the illusion of not being enough, of needing to fit in, of separation and competition. Standing in your authentic self is the most powerful place to be, and that is truly when that shine, that essence starts to express from within. And when you're in alignment with this truth, you really are unstoppable.
Mhm.
There's no need to prove anything when you are your authentic self, and to show them that life can be fluid and in flow and happen in ease. It doesn't have to be a fight, and it's not about chasing rainbows, because the rainbow is from within.
Mhm. Yeah. So as you're saying that, I just got so many different pictures coming in about how we stand in the world as way showers, as light workers, as healers, as coaches, how we stand in the world, and we awaken to ourselves, and we step into that, and we hold that frequency, and then we become that, that for others, and especially the people we serve, and our children. And as we stand in that vibration, we hold within ourselves what we're also holding for others, meaning that when we hold the highest frequency and we stand as the divine channel, we are we're stepping out of who we are as a human, and we're stepping into that vessel, the divine human that we are. And then we're inviting everybody else to do that. Uh, some of it is intentionally when we're in a group practice or we're teaching somebody, but also within our regular, like our day-to-day life, like with our children. And as we do that, it becomes natural for those around us to start leaning into that. It's sort of it's not a spoken, this is what we're in now. It's just it's a feeling. And when they can step into that frequency and they can be in that alignment, um, it just feels very powerful and magical. I mean, I have so many like images of just holding the space for somebody and seeing that transformation, seeing them step into their potentiality, their possibilities, and that joy, and just becoming.
Yeah, and allowing them to explore, like, because as channels, as these high frequency leaders and guides, it's a responsibility also to hold them in that space, but allow them to journey and find their way there. So a good example of this would be, for instance, my little one asked because somebody had mentioned to her about, is what you're doing brainwashing people? So it was interesting that the wording that she used. And so, okay, I thought, okay, well, this is a beautiful opportunity. Everything's an opportunity to learn and share. And at the end of the day, that's, as a parent, I think we need to invite in that curiosity so the children can find their truth that is authentic to them and their essence. And when she brought that through, I sat her down and said, let's explore this. Is it possible? So it broke the illusion of the matrix. Is it possible that one child is born into a family and they adopt all the messages and programs and beliefs of their parents, and another child does the same in a very different household? Is that not programming? Is that not brainwashing? So I said, what mommy does really is help people wake up to the fact, just because you were brought up in a certain environment, you don't need to stay linked to that identity. You get to stand in your truth and determine what you want to believe in, what feels good and right to you. And I think that is an important message that we need to share with our children or other parents or anybody who's awaking up to this self-mastery ascension journey, because it is yours to explore and yours to let in and see what is possible. And once you open up into these higher frequencies of exploration, curiosity, and it becomes fun. It really does.
Yeah, and I feel that message is great for everybody, everybody that's stepping into their awakening, because they are now holding that frequency for everybody else. And it creates this ripple effect. So it's amazing for everybody to continue to step into that. Earlier when we were talking about frequency and how we hold the space and we just hold the space and we allow everybody to step into that, and they find, how their journey is going to be. I wanted to talk about what I hear sometimes when people step into it and then they feel like they can't hold it. They go home, they can't hold it, and they come back and they feel like that something's not working. They feel that maybe it's not for them, or maybe they're the unlucky ones. I feel a lot of it. It's of course, your journey, my journey, they're similar, but they're different, meaning that we're all here to step into our truth and authentic truth and mastery. So that's part of it. And to share our gifts and our talents and hold the highest frequencies available. Or to get there, it's a little bit different for everyone. So what are your thoughts when people say, well, my journey was more difficult, or I can't hold the frequency, or I can only hold it for a certain time, or I can't get rid of this addiction, or I can't get rid of this pain, I can't get rid of this. And they're in a cycle of that, or they're so focused on that.
This is a great question, and I love this question. I truly believe that we're all heading in the same place. Ascension is ascension, and we're just raising in frequency, and your journey is uniquely yours. And again, there's no harder or lesser experience. It's just uniquely right for you and the choices that you've made and have come your way. But what I would like to plant a seed as somebody who understands that back and forth as you so well, that you are no different than anybody else. Like Maria's been there, I've been there. That is just the stage when the universe is planting you with seeds of what is possible. So when you go to that retreat and you feel that high, guess what? That was really real in that moment. And you're able to hold it for that weekend or that week or whatever. And if you were able to sustain it for that week, then it is possible to go back there again and sustain it for longer periods. So that's number one. So the door of possibility has already been opened. Number two, recognizing that these experiences, and for instance, ayahuasca and plant medicine and all these teachers are there as bridges, because at the end of the day, you're still relying on something external from you in order to reach that high. But they're serving as bridges for you to step into your self-mastery so that you can start to connect with it from within. And as you start to learn and how it really is just a frequency that you're attuning to, and start to ignite that from within. And trust me, I know it's possible because I'm doing it. And so the highs I can hold and sustain. It took me a long time, but as you become, I like to use the word obsessed because I do become obsessed with it. It's how I found true joy and love being alone and isolated. So sometimes you are held in a box and you're alone, but that is your invitation into your self-mastery. And I love my own company now. I giggle in my car by myself. So it's all part of the journey. And it's not that one person's better or not. They just went through it before you. And thank goodness for that, because then they can show you the way so that you could do it yourself. And that's being a way shower. So the experiences, the medicines, all these things tie in together in this beautiful design that is holding you in a space for you to step into your divine blueprint, if you will, and step into your mastery.
Beautiful, beautiful. What are some of the habits or processes that you can share that have helped you stay in the frequency or align with the frequency of 963?
Well, the most powerful tool in my toolbox, I'm actually doing a workshop on this weekend, is the DMT avatar. Learning to play with an avatar. Now, before I got into the started to coach an ascension, we used to call it what's the ultra ego, if you will. So it doesn't matter what label you want to put into it, but what's special about the DMT avatar is that you really start to learn to connect to the frequency of this ultra ego or avatar. And as you embody that frequency and just focus on expressing it outwards, this may be hard for a concept for people to understand, but you start to connect to an energy source that starts in my high heart and it radiates outward like the sun. And the more I focused on that, I was able to get out of my mind and all the stories. And as I started to play my first real avatar that I played with for the last year was becoming this spiritual gangster. And it was such a fun one to play in, and how my wardrobe would change, how I would speak a little bit differently, how I wasn't afraid to sing at the top of my lungs in the kitchen when I was putting away the dishes. Very different from the old person. I was fearless. I just started to embody this expression of what would a spiritual gangster be? How would she be as Liane? And that was my secret little game that I would play with myself. How would I be going to the grocery store? How would I interact with the local cashier? Everything shifted in my life. And so if I was to share one thing, it would be that to step into that imagination, that element of play, connect to that child self. Mm-hmm. Who did you want to, I'm getting full shivers as I'm saying this. So this is a divine yes. What did you imagine for your future? And connect to that energy. And if you don't know how to, there are a lot of people like Maria and myself that can guide you there and give you your next right step so you can start to play in the world of frequency and then just watch the magic unfold.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. I love that. Because I feel like when you have a practice, when you have something that you can play with, living into it becomes a lot easier. And especially if you allow your imagination to just take you where it wants to take you, because we forgot about them. We went from, being children, being in play. Some of us didn't even get a chance to be in the wonder stages.
Yeah.
And then, as of course, of adult, we step into responsibility, obligation, doingness, and we disconnect from the magic. So I love that idea of reconnecting to the sense of wonder and expressing yourself and playing with it and being free with it and just allowing yourself to have fun,
Yeah.
sing at the top of your lungs.
And it's never too late. My dad and mom are, how old are they now? 76. And the old them, they were getting ready for Christmas dinner and needing to make everything right. I asked my dad over dinner yesterday, I said, how was dinner preparations? And we had a lot of fun. I said, I was shocked. I'm like, what was the shift? I just became grateful. I get to have 19 people over for dinner. I get to prepare it with my wife. We're still healthy enough to do this. And we just enjoyed every step of the preparation. So again, it's never too late. So bring in that element of fun and gratitude and turn every experience into its higher vibration. That's the key.
Yeah, that's a great message. Again, everything is what you make it, right? So if you choose to make every experience joyful, full of wonder, full of possibility, higher vibration, and that's the experience you're continuously creating, and then you're laying down that foundation. The more you practice it, the more you're in it. And by the time you know it, your life looks different. It's just
Oh yeah. And the people, the places, the things, everything. Like, because you're this magnetic force that just attracts all these high vibing things and people. And it's definitely a better place to be.
Liane, what was the biggest lesson for you that changed the course of your life or that created the habits that allowed you to fully step into your full expression? Lesson, learning, challenge.
You know what? There were plenty of lessons and learnings, and I've always been a seeker for truth. But I think, well, I know the most important lesson for me was staying in my faith,
Mm,
because it is that faith in a higher power and just knowing that it was there and that I would get through it and that everything was happening for me. My faith is my greatest source of power.
mhm.
And I feel that we've disconnected from that, and not to be proud of it, and not in a prideful way, but it's an honor and a
Mhm,
responsibility and privilege to be
mhm.
connected to that frequency. And I invite other people into this place because it truly is irreplaceable. It's I can't put it into words how special it is. So honoring that privilege was the biggest lesson, is stepping into
Beautiful,
my high self.
beautiful. It reminds me of a practice that I often do and share of honoring ourselves for who we are, but honoring the connection we have with ourselves and who we truly are as a divine being.
Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful. So lots of beautiful, powerful messages
And
today.
careful when you do that. I've got to add one thing, because when you do open up your highest self, all kinds of doors can open. I'm just gonna throw it out there, which can be fun because it does open up a door to multiple dimensions, our timelines. It becomes kind of fun. So I just wanted to throw it out there because your highest self which is connected to source, obviously, but it becomes you open up a rabbit hole, and it can be quite fun.
Mhm. Yeah. So what I wanted to share with the audience, just so many powerful messages today. Um, one, kind of coming back to you, self-love, self-forgiveness, two, honoring yourself for who you are. Three, recognizing that you're the master of your destiny and choosing what that destiny is going to look like and leaning into trust, leaning into faith, leaning into your knowing. And also realizing that who you are and becoming you're also creating a different space for somebody else, including your children. So they're, as you shift, they shift. As you become, they become. And it's a beautiful, powerful journey that we're on. And it could be a very joyous one. It could be full of wonder, full of possibility. So I invite everybody to step into that, to step into you as the creator, you as the master builder, and to choose what's next for you, whether it is the avatar workshop, or whether it is um, seeking what's next for you from a coach or a mentor, a teacher, or spending time with yourself to find that way forward, because you'll be guided, you'll know. Thank you. Thank you, Liane.
And never give up on yourself.
Absolutely.
Because when you never give up on yourself and you open that door to possibilities and connect to all the things that Maria said, and allow the universe and your body to show you what is possible, watch out, because miracles are real and they happen for you once you open up that channel.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that. Any other messages that you want to share with the audience?
The only message I would love to share is that if anybody would like to experience a session with me, I am offering, well, maybe Maria, you can share a link to my private sessions, either the 1 hour session, which includes the coaching and channeling, and you get a process that is specific to you in the now to help you into your next, or you can get a half-hour session with me, which is a personalized meditation. Again, it's channeled through source so that you can listen to it over and over again and to help hold you in your highest frequency. So, and I'm offering a discount code. So Liane, Liane, by the way, Liane means daughter of the sun and the growing vine that bonds. And so Liane 33 for the 1 hour session and Liane 22 for the half-hour session. And that will be good till the end of January.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if they wanted to connect with you, how do they find you?
Yes, in the link, it'll connect to our website, and the website is becomingbioquantum.com. So you can reach me through becomingbioquantum.com and also through our YouTube channel.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, that was wonderful. Lots of great information, lots of inspiration and teachings. So I appreciate you being here with us. I appreciate the energy that you bring and the space that you hold for everyone. It's so beautiful and powerful and so aligned. I love that. Thank you. And thank you to our audience. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. To love.
Thank you, Maria.